Hey, welcome to Garage 81, where you watch a bumbling idiot make a bunch of stuff out of wood and make himself happy. Okay, so now that the intro's done, I'm trying to find a decent intro that I can actually talk about stuff. What is that? Oh, that must be that rare wood that I had bought a while back ago. Okay, now that I'm done making random comments and looking at this god-awful messy table right here that I've got to clean up. That's my project for today, is getting this mess all figured out and put away, because that mess was all over in this area, which is starting to get cleaned up. So, and then I have a big area out of the way right now and getting all area cleaned up, so that's good. But what I wanted to talk today is I wanted to do a bit of tool review. There's a sword above my head. Dun dun dun. Okay, never mind. So tool review. This is going to be interesting because I already know what I'm going to be talking about, but I'm thinking about all the other stuff. So the first thing is, if you are starting your own shop, if you're wanting to get into woodworking, wood crafting, things like that, well, the first thing is you got to have a little bit of a plan of action. You know, what are you going to be doing? Are you going to be providing a service? Or are you just going to be, hobbying around and getting something for yourself? What's the actual purpose for the wood shop? I'm going to bring my drink over here and sit down. And so that was the first question that I had asked to me. Is, hey, what tools do you recommend to start out with? And there's a lot of tools. There's a lot of things that that would be not only recommended, but it would be very useful if you started out with these. And I could go in and just start on random things, but then I'd get sidetracked. So I have to have a kind of a plan of action. So what were the things that I started out with? Well, I did small craft work at first, like, hobby craft and things like that. So I really didn't need a whole lot of tools. There was a couple of them that were really important. I started out with a carving knife. I had a Dremel tool and a vise, something to hold my material with, sander, things like that. But there's one thing that I totally and completely forgot about when I was making my list, and of course that is the thing that you have to look at first when you miss something and you're like, wait a minute, that was actually kind of important. So, what is it that was so important that I forgot? Bring my stool over here. Bring my drink over here. Out of all of the myriad tools, grinders, glue, bits and pieces, safety equipment, chisels, saws, hammers, apron, all this stuff. There's just a lot of stuff to have to look at. There's a saw guide. There's all these little bits and tools, work tables, a couple of different types of work tables. That is what I would say is something that you have to consider and start out with. Something that is going to clean up, because this is not just for the shop. This is a good general purpose tool to have. Now, of course, I'm not trying to advertise one particular brand, just like I'm not particularly advertising one type of drink. I'm not particularly advertising one type of brand. You're always going to find that people have their own styles of vacs to shop vacs to go to. This is just the one that I got a good deal on. I picked it up brand new. I was over at Lowe's one Christmas and found a really good deal on it, and it was like almost half the price. So I was like, "Oh man, I got to do it. I got to do it." So I broke down and I got it. Now, a dust collection in a shop is kind of an important thing to do, and I have neglected, uh, uh, doing my own dust collection, and of course I've suffered with that because my shop gets turn this around again. My shop gets really dusty and dirty, and dust settles everywhere and gets into everything. And there's a couple of tricks that I can lend out to help you figure out how to overcome the dust issue problem. But being able to have to pick up after yourself after the day is done, after the work is all completed and everything, that just allows you to get back out into the shop the next day and get right into it really fast. So the first thing that you have to allot for is, of course, is time management. You want to be able to set aside maybe a half an hour at the end of the day to put away all of the tools that you took out and reorganize everything, clean everything up, which, of course, obviously I haven't done. I'm going to have to do this whirlwind pickup job on this one. And then, of course, take a little time and vacuum up all the dust that you've created, all the chips that you've blown out all over the place. That's kind of one of the more important things to do. Now, as far as what type of shop vac to get, you want to be able to have something that's going to be big enough to do the job that you need to do. Plus, you want to have your power consideration to also be taken into effect. Now, starting out, my garage has two plugins. I'm in a rental unit, and so a lot of the stuff that I'm going to try to do coming up here is I'm going to try to get more battery operated equipment. I bought a couple of really high end drill and impact driver to help out with that side. So really what I try to do in this shop is limit myself to one tool in usage at a time. Even though I think I've got two different plugins, I could plug in one tool in one outlet and one tool in another outlet, and hopefully I don't blow out any amp. I'm not sure what the power box configuration is for this apartment rental unit, but I'm pretty sure it's low end. So I had to take that into an account when I was going in and building my shop, that I have a low end power output capability. And that also means I don't have any 220s, which means the 220 outlets that are for high powered equipment, they don't provide you with any of that. So that's kind of a specialty thing. If you have your own place, you can consider getting 220 outlets for saws and other high-end equipment that requires a greater power usage. But right now, small shop, you have to consider smaller, smaller ways. You gotta downthink what your capability is going to be doing, so that you're not tripping a GFI all the time. I think since I've lived here, I've probably maybe tripped the GFI like 5 times. And most of the time, it was probably because there was more water coming into the garage, and one of the power cords was laying on the ground or whatever. It didn't blow out the circuit, but that's not a hard fix to repair. I mean, there's 2 trips. There's a trip at the GFI. There's a trip at the at the fuse box, and all it would require is just to reset the fuse switch at the fuse box. So, taking your power consideration into mind, then you can figure out just what you are capable of handling. Now, most household shop vacs are low-end 110 outlets, so that's very convenient. The horsepower, however, is what the peak amps are drawing, and can tax the fuse box. If you are trying to pick up dust as you are creating something, so let's say you are running a table saw, and then you plug in a shop vac into a low-end power output, you're going to blow something. But if you have a decent, moderately amped shop vac, which I have, and you use a low-end power tool like a sander or a drill or a Dremel, something like that, and you're just picking up small bits, then you're not stressing out the outlets. You're not stressing out the GFIs, and it won't trip. So, it's possible that I could be using 2 tools at once. I try not to. So that takes me to my next part of my ruling is, I create the dust, I clean up the dust. I create the dust, I clean up the dust. I do that all the time. And I've still got dust all over the place that I have to, sawdust and stuff like that I have to pick up. But a shop vac is very convenient. And, okay, so let's get back on track with the shop vac. So the shop vac is, like I said, it's a multi-use tool. This is literally, I'm going to be including this in as a tool that you will have to constantly, consider as a listing option for outfitting your shop with. The shop vac has 2 capabilities. It has a wet capability and it has a dry capability. Most of the time, in a shop orientation, you're going to be using it in a dry capacity. And in the as far as picking up dust and dry vac and stuff like that, that's where you're actually going to tax the motor if you're not careful. Now, I've had my shop vac for maybe 9 years. Wow, that thing is old. No, it can't be that old. Maybe 7 years, but I've had it for a while, and the reason why I've extended life out on it is I don't use the cheap foam filter that goes around the pickup. I use vacuum cleaner bags. Now, the vacuum cleaner bags are... Do I have any out? Do I need to get more? Nope, I got them out. They're just underneath sandpaper. Bring that over to a place where I can show it off. Right there. There is the vacuum cleaner bags that I'm using for the shop vac. This fits over the receptacle nozzle, and this goes around the central motor unit that creates the vacuum pressure. That's where that foam column is usually that people are always getting dirty. And I just take that foam filter off, and I put that vacuum cleaner bag. Sometimes I leave the foam filter on if I'm using a lot of fine dust, because that's just a secondary particle pickup. But these vacuum cleaner bags are for general dirt and debris that can, and I think I have to change mine out. This is the last one I have, isn't it? Yeah, that's the last one I've got. They come, I think, like, what is it, 2 or 3 in a bag? 3. There's 3 in a bag. And I paid maybe like $14, $15 for that. And that's fine. That's kind of what you're going to be expecting to do with something like that. But that will extend the life out on your shop vac. Like I said, I've had mine for a long time, and I use it all the time. And so there's other things that I've used this for. When we clean out the car, I use it for picking up dirt and debris out of the car, and out of my friends' vehicles. If they've got things that, or possibly I've transported stuff and I've gotten their vehicles dirty, I'll take my shop vac out and attach the hose to it and pick up their stuff. So cleaning up your vehicle, cleaning up the garage. I have another smaller shop vac upstairs in my apartment for just general debris pickup that the vacuum cleaner can't really pick up, and getting into corners and things like that. Picking up errant bugs and stuff like that kind of get into the apartment. So the shop vac is a really good tool to start out your shop, the shop vac for the shopping list. Okay, whatever. And then I think I will go into another tool, which is creating the dust. I would say your next tool